Hey there, this is episode 24 of the Sexcapade Chronicles, and I am lucky enough to be joined by Big Al today.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I am so excited to be in the studio with you doing the Sexcapade Chronicles.
I know. I don't know how my boss is going to like this, but hey, we'll do it. We're going to make this thing happen.
We're going to make it happen.
We're going to ask for forgiveness before we ask for permission. So.
Exactly. So, you have been on View 101 for quite some time now.
Yes, since 2012.
Since 2012.
Yes.
So you kind of pioneered the way for Sacramento to have iHeartRadio.
Well, yeah, but it was before they changed from the old company to iHeartRadio. It was right about 2013.
Okay.
And it's been just rolling ever since. And so have we, by proxy. Yeah.
Okay, so anyone that knows me knows I love my old school R&B.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like last week in Tahoe during the Celebrity Golf Tournament, I was karaoke to Montel Jordan, and I got a standing ovation.
Okay. I see you.
I love my old school R&B.
Yeah,
so this is always on in the car.
So you were out there at the Celebrity Golf Tournament, yeah?
Yes, I was there last week with all the celebs. It was... it's the 5th year of it.
Yeah. Oh my God. And it's the 50th year. I know y'all were turned up out there.
We were. I invited you.
I know. But I had a small thing called the
State Fair.
The State Fair I had to do. So I was like, I'm plotting and planning for next year. I
mean, it's one of the funnest events of the year, only because like all the celebs are there and they get like absolutely hammered, and then they walk around the golf course and take pictures.
I mean, what better situation is that? That's all good.
And I took care of a very drunk person at the bar, not knowing her boyfriend was one of the former Red Sox players.
Ooh.
And so he gave me the all-access pass as a thank you to be able to go behind the scenes.
And it was a wrap after that. It was a wrap.
I took no pictures. I just wandered about.
So explain to me how you said I got all my stuff deleted on purpose. I mean, explain to me, because this is not even Vegas. This is Tahoe.
Okay, so people know that I dated someone that's in security in Tahoe. Okay. So, I spent a lot of my, PTSD moments in Tahoe.
Right.
And so my casino host always made sure that there was no documentation. Well, she's not been there for quite some time now. Yeah. And so I might have dated the head of security. And they might... a few months ago, and he might have taken it upon himself to delete anything that was incriminating.
Well, at least he had the compassion to do that,
Yeah, I mean, I didn't ask him to do this. He told me after the fact, and then, he was trying to throw it in my face. Everyone thinks you're crazy and all this stuff. I'm like, well, you deleted any documentation. Can't really throw that one in my face.
No, you can't do that.
So, things work out. Karma's a bitch. So there is no documentation of any of the crazy that goes on.
That's good.
So we were kind of talking about this a little bit before the show started. Dating in Sacramento with being in the public eye.
Oh my God, yes. It is very interesting. Surprisingly, a lot of people like to give you your privacy, your private space, to date or to see somebody or whatever. And a lot of them are cool, but there are some who want all the tea. They think they're Wendy Williams III, right? And they want I saw you over there. You didn't see me nowhere. Stop lying. But yeah, But in my experience, most of it has been pretty. It's been pretty chill. But when they do see you and they want to talk about you, and then they want to get somebody else jealous, I saw. I'm like, just stop it. It's all one or two apples always spoil the whole bunch sometimes.
So our job is to be out and about.
Yeah.
So we talk to people constantly.
Okay.
So it's very difficult then for people to understand that we're doing our jobs versus we're hitting on every person we talk to.
Right. And so a lot of it, our job is to please the other people that are having fun.
Yeah.
We're like the Mr. Rourke and Tattoo of Fantasy Island for them.
Yeah.
For our audience, whoever it is, hip hop, rock, whatever.
Yeah.
So we have to be out and about all the time, just as a default matter, of course, to be out there and do things.
Yeah. So we wouldn't be successful in our careers if we stayed at home and didn't go interact with people.
Right.
Because people want to know who those people are behind the microphone or on TV or the queen of dating. They want that in-person experience.
Yes.
But then the in-person experience bites you in the ass in your personal life.
Yeah. There's some things you can regret. I gotta be real careful in the 916 sometimes,
So that's why I go to Tahoe, because I have to be very careful too, because I'm a liability to myself.
Right.
My great decision making. Because I think everything's a great idea. As we talk about in the podcast, like
I'm gonna use that model right there. I think everything is a great idea.
I really do. I really do. I think that like it sounds like a horrible idea. I should go try that. Let's see what happens. Like that's how my brain literally has always worked. Like,
right.
Let's see if it's gonna get what the end results will be like.
Hey, you may get in trouble, but the memories are stellar.
You know, to me, I don't have to worry about the trouble part because I'm pretty good at getting out of that. Like, I just smile and act dumb, and people typically believe that I am dumb and didn't know better.
See, I have to have lawyers. It's a little bit more costly on my side. So I really have to be,
yes.
Because there's things that you really, really, in your heart of hearts, want to say, but you don't, because if you do, then I'm on channel 3 going like, police are looking for this person, like, right? They're looking for this guy.
Yeah.
And so I got to be real careful with that.
And see, like, doing the podcast, I actually has been able to be very freeing for me, not having to have color in the line and be politically correct any longer. Because as a teacher all those years, it was assumed I was politically correct, even though I taught high school special ed continuation, which being politically correct is correct.
I can see how this whole thing turned into the Queen of Dating. I can see that right here.
Like one of those things of like constantly like you have to be able to relate to the students and such, so you cannot be politically correct.
Yeah.
I taught in Long Beach.
Oh no!
Down the street from Wilson High School.
And Long Beach, on top of all that.
And I taught in the non-public school. Once they've been expelled from Compton and Long Beach, they were brought in.
When you get expelled from Compton School District, this I went to Long Beach State, Cal State Long Beach, and I have seen the glory because I was young and 19, 20 years old in LA area, going dancing at the club and going out playing football and doing all, oh my God, that's I'm surprised I made it out there alive.
Exactly.
Really
I'm surprised. Like one of my worst students, he was the most trouble that I had, but I was able to help him, and now he's in Vegas and he's the caretaker. And so when I got to Vegas, he's always the first one greeting me off the plane. But he was like the rolling 20s. Like,
oh no! Yeah.
The worst of the worst. So you get to kind of see over the evolution of your career.
Right. You see a lot of stuff.
You do see a lot of stuff. So you said that you didn't actually start in the radio industry.
No, I started. I'm actually started in the banking industry. I was an economics major, and I was working in Office of Management and Budget. I was working for like Citicorp. Well, back then it was called Citicorp Savings. Before it was called Citigroup, and it was like I was handling all the stuff, and that's when I got into my first dating relationship with a coworker, which was kind of weird, but it was so much fun.
So were you the boss, or was she the boss?
I was the boss then. I was the boss then. She was really the boss. She was my manager. But yeah, I was the boss. After 5 o'clock. It was all good.
So I asked you guys in a poll, should you date a coworker or not?
Right.
50% of people said yes, 50% said no.
Right. I mean, it's kind of half and half. I'm now on the no side of that, but I know what that feels like because you spend a vast majority of your life at work.
Exactly.
I mean, obviously, like 40 hours a week of your life at the job, maybe even more if you count overtime.
Yeah.
And it's on top of the top, so that's a part of your life now. So why not get a mate that knows what you're going through, know the struggle is real?
Exactly. My parents met, at work, but they were married to other people, and that worked out very well. Nonetheless.
There's that part.
There's that whole thing. Obviously, they didn't stay married to those people.
Yeah, but I mean, it was, but at the time I was 18. It was my first big job, and I was at a summer job after going to school. Freshman year, came back, was working at Citicorp Savings.
So is this in Long Beach, or you came back?
Well, this was at this point, I was in high school in Oakland.
Okay.
And so I went back to Oakland my freshman year, coming back for the summertime. And my mom used to work at Citicorp Savings. So you can only imagine, what happened. So I got there and I was working in foreclosure bankruptcy. So I had enough knowledge to deal with that stuff.
Yeah.
And I was, pencil pushing geek and the whole thing. And I met her. She walked in the door. Hi.
So you're 18 years old.
I'm 18 years old and she was 25. and she knew I was 18 years old.
So cougar, I like this.
Oh, yeah, she was trying to, boy, it was the wild forest out there, boy. It was not playing. And so she was hollering at me, hey, how you doing? And like, in the back of my mind, look, I'm originally from Chicago. So I know how the pimping game goes. I know how it goes, all right?
What's a pimping game?
Pimping game is like, you say certain things, you're not really trying to find out what their interests are, who you be with. You're trying to find the direct path to get in them draws.
Okay, so the path of least resistance.
Path of least resistance to get in the draws.
Okay.
So that's what she was doing. And I liked it because I like this seduction thing is pretty cool. I like this. Go ahead, baby. Keep talking.
So, did you have any experience, like, sexually at this point? Or is this like...
Short answer, yes. But not in this seduction part of the game.
Okay.
Right? Because normally I was raised into the man goes after the woman.
Yeah.
And I was raised around that. When I moved to Oakland, then everything changed. All bets were off. Women were going after dudes, dudes going after women, women were going after women, dudes going after dudes. It was like World War III for them, right? Anything was possible. So I was like, anything is possible. So here's me at City Club Savings, in the office, like, oh yeah, you're not. Have you been? You're a teller before? I say, no, I'm not. I'm not a teller. I'm trying manly, but I'm scared as hell on the inside. Like, oh my God, she's trying to get me.
She's trying to get me.
Right?
She's trying to get me in bed.
She's trying to get me in bed. And then but my man voice was like, she's trying to get me in bed.
Let's see what happens.
I got Jodeci songs in my head and all that. So she rode with the whole path like, hey, why don't we maybe go out and grab a bite after work, And it'd be my treat. I was like, my treat? She paying for the food? Oh my God, this is it right here. And then she said, I'll pick you up at 7. You gonna pick? I caught the bus to work, right? So I'm like, you gonna pick me up at 7?
And your mom worked there too.
And my mom, like, she just been off 2 years off of working there, right?
Okay.
So she knew all the employees there, including her.
No, so I was waiting for your mom to get her.
So my mom knew her, but she didn't know her. She just knew, like, right? Because she was up there with, like, the CEO. Like, she's up there, like, the top floor. I'm, like, on the second to the bottom floor. Right? I'm trying to get started. And so here she come. And so I'm trying as hard as I can not to say her name. So, because I think she works for the Fed now. So I'm like, but she know what I'm talking about. She know what I'm talking about. So she took me. We went to dinner, and then we went walking around Lake Merritt, and then we were holding hands, and then one thing led to another thing, and we went back to her house. And
I thought you were gonna say outside, like somewhere.
Oh, that was later on in the dating experience. The outside came later on, but she was like, it was like she was so reserved, and the ponytail and the thing and the pantsuit and the whole nine, and then 7 p.m. It was like a Bubba Sparks song. I found you, Miss Newborn. She was like that.
It sounds so familiar.
Yeah. But it was awesome. It lasted about like 4 months, 3-4 months. So like the 3 months of summer, and then September, and I would go back. I found reasons to go back home to Oakland to see her. Yeah. And then it was just one rap video fantasy thing.
So did you catch feelings? Because I mean, if you go back to college and you're coming back,
of course, you got the P feeling that good. Yeah, I'm gonna catch some feelings. Okay, for sure. I mean, I'm 19.
I know.
I'm about to be 19.
I had a long distance relationship through college. You lived in Sac. I live in SoCal. Every other weekend on the plane, so I understand it. I do.
Literally, it was like I would. My last class was Thursday at 2 p.m. and then 2:30, I'm in the car driving back to Oakland. Right, I finally got a car at this time. As I drove to Oakland, my little hoopty bucket car, little Toyota Tercel, driving home. I'm gonna make it home. I gotta get some of that. I gotta get some of that good again. Every weekend in September, and then she finally dropped the bomb on me in September, and she's like, I'm gonna have to cut this thing off. It's over because what happened was Mom found out about her and went over to see her because Mama from Chicago too. And so she know what she trying to do. it's like the Mac in reverse. You know what I'm saying? And it was so yeah, it was kind of it was one of I got the phone call like, boy, I want you to be back here this Thursday at my house. You know, that type of thing. So it was like, yeah, that ended pretty rough.
So you're a mama's boy.
Yeah, I'm a mama's boy. You know what I'm saying? I'm not henpecked, but you know, it's like you don't want to disappoint your mama. You know, there's some things that you look. I've done some devilment. I've you know, I'm not Saint Alvin. I've done some devilment, but it's some things that she knew it's like rite of passage stuff that she knew about that she went through. But so she understood that, but she didn't want me to go over the top and get myself in big trouble.
Yeah.
So that's why she like, you know, cut that whole thing because I knew she knew what that was going to head to.
So I dated someone from 17 to 23, didn't know how to date. It's just how I became the queen of dating. My mom used to ask me, like, they encouraged me actually to go hook up, and they said if I got pregnant, as long as they were blonde and blue-eyed, they didn't care. As a pep talk for me to move on with my life.
Nice pep talk.
But she used to ask me, she would call me on Saturday morning and ask what celebrity or who I was in bed with. You know, it's like, we'll talk about parenting differences.
Oh my God.
So my 20s.
Hi, baby. Who you banging?
Exactly. And like, I talked about this like a couple weeks ago. My mom walked in on me like before I moved back to Sacramento. It was 10 years ago this summer. And actually, it came up on Facebook notifications yesterday. Was the night I met this guy. I moved back to Sacramento and was dating.
Right.
And I messaged him. I'm like, oh, we met 10 years ago. And he's like, remember when your mom walked in and didn't get mad? She came back twice. Because we were in my brother's room and he was drunk and I brought him back. That's because I didn't have an apartment at this point.
Right. You in your room.
I was visiting. No, I had my bedroom upstairs and I went downstairs to my brother's room.
Oh my God.
But we were so loud, my mom heard us apparently and unlocked the door and walked in. And so, but he could finish. I told him yesterday, I was like, you have 3 kids now and are married. Like, you know, you've moved on with your life. Mine's still the same. Except I'm not having sexcapades at my parents'.
Right. You having sexcapades everywhere else.
Exactly. That's not my parents.
Right.
You know, so parenting, like, kind of like, do you think determines what your dating style's like?
It does a little bit because it's depends on if they're like, you know, like my parents, they're very religious. You know, they're like mom was spiritual when I was going out, you know, when the whole thing in Oakland happened. But then my mom got very like just Jesus Christ crucified. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it was like you need to find your wife and equally yoked and all that stuff. So and what they're saying makes a lot of sense because I go through that in radio and meeting people out in the public, and you know, I've seen some crazy. I'm gonna give you a prime story.
Okay.
I'm gonna give you a story about how these women. So I've talked about this story a few times on the air too. So remember when Prince came to Sacramento? This is like a long time ago. So Prince was performing at the Memorial, and so he had his after party at Harlow's.
Okay.
And so it was all good. So then Prince's manager came to the radio station. This was at the old station. And he was like, look, I love how y'all did it. I'm going to have Prince come back. Because Prince liked to just go to different places and scout around and see what's happening. And then when nobody's looking, boom, there he is. And so they said, we're going to do a show. We're going to do another show at Harlow's. But we're going to take over the entire up and down stairs.
Yeah.
So we just going to, I said, okay, well, how much are the tickets? And, I'm just curious. He said, no. We just going to give them away. I want you to give the tickets away. He pointed right at me. So I'm from Chicago. You respect your elders. You see a 70-year-old man going, you do what he say, right? Mm-hmm. And so I'm like, okay, we'll talk to my boss and we're going to make this thing happen. So I was the only one giving out tickets for Prince. Yeah. Like 500 tickets for Prince. So you can imagine it was people, every type of friend I ever had in life. Cousins I never knew, 4th cousin twice removed. I mean, everybody.
People's offering to drop their panties, obviously. As well.
Oh, let me tell you. So I was at the Kings game. I was at the Kings game with the old Arco, and this mom rolled up on me and like recognized me, saying, "I know you got them Prince tickets." And I was like, "Yes, ma'am, but I don't have them on me right now. I'm gonna have them on the radio tomorrow." And she was like, "Look, I'm gonna keep it real. Me and my daughter are gonna bang you for some Prince tickets." And I'm like, I'm trying to go get a hot dog. I'm like, right now? Y'all go.
With the hot dog.
I'm in row 9. What are you doing right now? You gonna drop them? What are we gonna do here, right? And she's like, no, I'm just gonna let you know that we willing to make this happen for simplicity. I'm like, look, all you gotta do is ask me, not because the one thing I like as a guy, I'm like, hell yeah, mom and dad. I'm with mom and daughter. I'm gonna go ahead and just get it. But I thought about I'm gonna do things of the next day.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, we gonna get down, but the next day, it's all bad. So I'm like,
the guilt, the shame,
right?
All the bad choices.
So this is all going on in my head right now. And I'm like,
you're obviously sober,
right? So I didn't have the beer yet. So I'm like, so in my head I'm like, damn, right? I'm like, I gotta have me some mom and daughter, right? But at the same time, I'm like, I didn't want that going around. Oh yeah, Big Al and banged his mom and daughter for some Prince tickets, right? And so I'm like, look, since you that hell bent, I'm just gonna go ahead and give you the Prince tickets, right? You know, because I realized that I ain't the first one that she's offered this
service to.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, for other things, and she'd offered, you know, here's a test drive, or here's that new Tesla you want, whatever. You know, here's a True Religious jeans you want to try out. You know, I'm sure there's been other opportunities. Prince ticket is just one of them. So I just kind of just did that. I'm like, I know as a man, I'm going to be kicking myself for the rest of my life.
Yeah. But
as far as my job and my reputation, at least that's intact. You know, I can't, you know, I had cold showers for like 2 weeks after that whole episode. I was, oh my God. I just wish, I started thinking like, maybe I made a mistake.
Opportunity sometimes doesn't knock twice. So.
Exactly. But I mean, yeah, sometimes it does.
Exactly. And then later on.
But that's I got a big microcosm of what I deal with on the air, and a lot of DJs deal with that. Radio DJs deal with that. I'm sure.
Yeah.
We probably talk to folks and they give you all their crazy stories, but it's like some women are like, you really drop your drawers for some Prince tickets?
Yeah.
In Sacramento, and then I'm not going out with you because as soon as I go to the bathroom, you're gonna walk up to somebody. Hey, you know, I got that good D. You know, I got that 12-inch D. I got that D. And then you take it off, you run off, and then leave me. You know, like I don't want to go out with somebody like that.
No,
I don't want that. You know.
So, like when you go out and such, like it's difficult for many reasons because you don't know what people's intentions are.
Right.
So, are they trying to use me? Or do they want to get to know me?
Right, and that's the struggle for me. Like, you know, they trying to know Big Al, or they're trying to know Alvin, and that's the thing. I mean, if Alvin just happened to have some tickets, then you know it's whatever. But if you're just trying to bum some tickets off me and then you ghost me, then it's like, why are you doing that? You know, because if you're doing that for tickets, then what else you gonna you're gonna go from there. So that's always a struggle for me.
Yeah, that's the same for me because like the Queen of Dating and stuff, like people always are like, oh, you know this person, I want the hookup, or can you do this? Can you do that? Like people everyday messages, you know, like it's feeling entitled.
Yes.
And as a girl, like these guys, like it's mostly men.
Yeah.
99% men feel entitled to me or to go out with me or to whatever, and it's really difficult because it wears on your self-esteem because you become a character basically you're playing constantly, and people don't see the real you anymore. So as the Queen of Dating, people didn't see Jen Bryant anymore. Right, exactly. You become the persona, which was a lot of like my depression and like everything else because you lose yourself in that. And when you're going through things and having to hide it all, it kind of makes it that much more difficult because you can't keep it up. Exactly. And there starts to be cracks, and then hence Tahoe episodes.
You gotta release one time. You gotta release, you know what I'm saying?
Release, but like, you know, when you have trauma and stuff and you're trying to keep up the public image, it's pretty difficult. So I know you had a near-death experience.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about like what happened?
All right, so I'll try to be as short speech as I can. So January 2016, I went to the hospital, had a very, very bad septic infection, and it turned into the big $50 word is necrotizing fasciitis. Basically, it's like the flesh-eating virus.
Okay.
So, and it manifested itself as a pimple or a cyst on the back of my leg.
Okay.
And so a boil. And so the doctor went to go lance the boil, as doctors tend to do, and instead of the pus, it was the poison, the toxic substance, and a lot of it came out, but some of it went back into my bloodstream.
Okay.
And it just jacked me up. I went into shock. You know, I was in a coma for like 3 weeks. I had strokes on both sides of my brain. It was terrible. It was. I woke up. I woke up out of the thing. It was a very surreal instance. I woke up out of the coma, and this was the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl was on.
Yeah.
And I'm looking like, how the hell did the Panthers get the damn Super Bowl? What the hell is this? I can say Denver, but I mean, what did Cam Newton do for this one? You know. But it was weird because it was the ironic thing that I remembered that, but I didn't know my name. I didn't know what planet I was on. I didn't know my family. I knew my mama, but I didn't know my brother and his wife and the little baby.
So your long-term memory was affected.
It was just jacked. A mix of the coma and then all the drugs that they're giving you. I was just shocked. And then I had to learn everything had atrophied. I had to relearn how to walk. It was tough. Yeah. And there's a lot of other things that go along with hospital stays.
Yeah.
You know, like C. diff. If you ever heard, look up C. diff. Just look up C. diff. You will know the glory of what I went through. So it's tough.
I mean, like, I was in the hospital a lot during my hysterectomy gone wrong and
stuff.
So
you already know. You already know.
I mean, I know, like, the wear and tear it takes on you, like, as a person. And you, and the anesthesia and, like, everything else, the toll it takes on your body and your memory.
And psychologically, I was like, I can't go anywhere. I'm so used to being out and going and doing, and I couldn't go anywhere because I couldn't walk and I couldn't, you know. Yeah. To ask somebody to help me go to the bathroom, it was the most. I was like, I have nothing left.
Yeah.
You know, and my doctors were telling me, you know, maybe you can think of a different career than radio, and I was like, you know, because the part of it is the loss of what's called executive function, like. Say you're trying to get to Marconi. Marconi and Watt. All right, just, you know, boom, boom, boom. But it's traffic. So what do you do now? So you got to think of a different way and edit. Yeah. That's executive decision making. Yeah. I had none of that.
Yeah.
So I couldn't operate, couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
And they had finally, you know, cleared me to come back to work. I was in the hospital from January to March. Okay. And then I had home care for the month of April. And I came back to work Cinco de Mayo, 2016. But those few months was just so traumatic. I was like, what the, when you're told you can't do anything, you know, and it's like this is not like this is your brain, you know. I'm like, what the hell? So for me to come back and everything is intact and like best case scenario, they amputated something. Yeah. So they just told me that out the gate. And I'm like, what y'all gonna cut off, right? And so I'm like, so that's, and in worst case scenario, curtains. And I saw while I was recovering somebody that, you know, the lady in Davis, and she ran her wrist like she was on that little zip line, and she skinned her hand on the wire, and necrotizing fasciitis happened while, you know, and she ended up losing all of her limbs except a stump where she can move the wheelchair. And I was like, you know, I could have had that, you know. Yeah. And it was crazy. So for me to be intact, still in my right mind with all my limbs, I'm like, you know, thank God. But still, you have that loss. Yeah. And it's kind of hard to articulate that, but it was.
No, it's a loss of yourself because it's like you're mourning a loss of like a life that you may never get back.
Right.
And like that piece, like it was so easy before and you take it for granted. And now you like don't know if you're ever going to be that again.
I used to play basketball and dunk on people, and then I can't even, I can barely get past walking, you know? Yeah. Like I try to run and I'm like in pain. I'm like, what? I can't even, you know, I'm trying to dribble the basketball, but because of what happened in my head, I got the vertigo. So I can't look up and just shoot. Like I used to. So it was all those things, and I had to just recreate my life and try to figure out my new normal. Yeah. And I could still operate. I could still be on the air. I could still do things. Slowly, things started to come back, and I became more fully functional. But it was like just, oh my God, you know, it was very tough.
Yeah. So I mean, my situation wasn't nearly as extreme, but like they cut my bladder during my hysterectomy.
Oh yeah.
So, but they repaired it during surgery, and they said it was going to be fine. I would have a catheter for 10 days. Well, my vagina and bladder merged, and so I was feeding through my vagina. and they didn't know if they'd be able to fix it. So basically, I was on bed rest for 5 months. I had to have home care.
Yeah.
Like, I was in a tremendous amount of pain because they cut me open so many times. I had to go see a new doctor and such. And I don't know if we can fix this. This may be permanent.
Oh my god.
And so as the queen of dating, sexcapades,
and here you go.
You're taking like my identity.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And I'm like, what do you mean I may never have sex again? And like, this may be a permanent condition that I'm like peeing myself constantly. And it depends. And like, this is like really, even with the catheter, and like, you know, you're in the public eye and you're like, this is my reality. And I've never talked about this actually publicly. It's one of those things, you know, that you're looking at your life and it's not looking like it's ever going to get better.
Oh my gosh.
And, you know, during the surgery, there was severe complications again. And it was supposed to take 2 hours and it took 4.5. There was so much scar tissue and everything else. They couldn't stop my bladder from like leaking.
Yeah.
And so they're trying to repair everything. And I had the best doctor. And I wake up, well, because my legs were in that position for so long, I had nerve damage. I couldn't feel my leg.
Oh no.
So I woke up and I had no feeling in my leg. Oh. And no one believed me. I had nerve damage to my leg. I couldn't walk. And so they're doing all these tests, and then I'm having a heart attack, like basically now, because of my anxiety and everything else.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things, they're putting you in machines, they're hooking you up, and they're like, you may not make it. Like, and I'm like, you know.
Like, be advised, you may die.
Yeah, because no one was believing me. You know, like, they're like, no, this doesn't happen. No, this is like less than 1% chance. And then the complications I had for the last surgery were less than 1%. And I'm like, you know, when you're in that, like, and they don't know if the surgery worked or not. And like, you don't know if you're ever going to be that person again. Plus, I gained like 50 pounds because of all the hormones. And like, and so you don't even look like yourself. And then your significant other is cheating on you and you can't leave.
Oh, God.
So, like, you know, like when you're living in that hell of trauma for that long, you don't know if your life is ever going to resume and get your function back.
Exactly. Those are the things that you worry about. You know, you worry about, can I have my life back?
Yeah, and so, like, you know, I did recover, thankfully, and such, but, like, I still have pain every day. I went to pelvic therapy, which is vagina therapy, for 2 years.
Okay. Vagina therapy.
Yeah, vagina therapy. Julia, I took her to Puerto Rico on vacation. I transferred the ticket from my ex-boyfriend to her, first class.
Why not? Of course.
And was able to kind of, you know, reward her, but, like, this wasn't, like, an easy road to recovery, nor is it, like, I still am in pain every day, and I don't talk about that just because the scar tissue is wrapped around my organs.
Yes.
And, like, you know, the things you lose. So running now is painful. Like a marathon runner too now, like I can go run a couple miles, but then I'm in pain.
Right.
You know, and like, you know, you lose that part of yourself of being able to be like, I played basketball, no big deal. Well, I ran for years and now like it's an ordeal.
Right. And the same thing with my surgery. It was like I had skin graft surgery. So they took skin off of this leg and threw it on the back of this leg to cover the opening. It literally was opening. I had wound vacs everywhere. I was like RoboCop. I didn't know what. And they basically stapled me all the hell. And so I still went 2 weeks ago. This happened in 2016. 2 weeks ago, I went back to the surgeon to get some more staples taken out. I mean, it never ends. And the nerve damage and everything, I have that. But I was almost scared that I couldn't sexually operate, you know, because they stapled the thing went all the way into my crotch. Yeah. And it was like just, you know, that's where they have to drain or just save my leg doing that. And it was like painful. And it's still still kind of, you know, you still felt like, okay, can I do anything? I haven't dated anybody to see if I can do anything. Yeah. But I mean, I still got the desire. I still can, you know, feel aroused. I still can do all that. But it's just, you know, when the moment comes, it's gonna happen. But those type of things psychologically, you really think about after a near-death experience. Yeah. And that's like your identity, though. Like for me, that was such a big part. Like because like that was something that like no one could see my pain. Yeah. Because I could highlight, you know, that aspect of my life that I was. By the way, I'm sorry, Tony Cox is looking through.
Hey.
Looking through here. What's happening? Hey, we're talking. Hey. Give us a couple more minutes. So he's like, he wants to come in so bad.
We love Tony Cox.
Yeah. Shout out to Tony Cox, man. He's all good, man. Yes.
That's how we met. So
exactly. But yeah, those things are really psychologically
damaging to you, and people like, you know, the pain of like everything I'd gone through my entire life and all the trauma, like I hid behind my ability to perform sexually. Like I was like, you know, that was what I could do,
right,
and not have to get emotionally invested in people. Now you're taking that from me,
right.
like literally, I'm like, what am I gonna do? Like, I can't talk about feelings.
And you think in your head like, I only got one job.
Yeah, and you know, I couldn't even wrap my mind around it. Like, I just got so depressed and everything else, and I was in so much pain all the time. And I was like, this is my quality of life. Like, this is what happens, you know, when you survive.
Yeah.
And it changes, like, everything.
And it really changes a lot about how the type of people that you want to find, or what you will tolerate, what you won't tolerate.
Yeah.
And a lot of things that, before I got sick, I realized that I'm not going to tolerate this. I'm just going, you know, because like in radio, you know, I'm the good cop. You know, I'm the good guy. I'm good times, Big Al. You come here, the party don't start till I walk in. The whole thing.
Yeah.
And so, and I like doing that, because if they're happy, I'm happy.
Yeah.
And so I want to find out what makes them happy, and I'm having a good time. I literally felt like Mr. Rourke in Family Salad. You know?
Yeah.
But Mr. Rourke had powers too. He can turn some weather like that. Or, like, don't mess with Mr. Rourke, okay? Like, he'll help you create the fantasy, and then he'll jack you up too. So, so I was trying to be that guy. And when I got out of the hospital, it really made me think, like, okay, the priority now is I gotta take a nap. You know, it's like if I'm tired, before I used to like push, and go, and now I'm like, you know what? It's 1 o'clock. Time for me to go to bed. You know, and everything else is secondary.
Yeah.
And I had to really reprogram my brain to do that. Self-care. And it was like, because I was in the extreme case of flying, I can do 9, 10 things at one time.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, okay, I can do 2 or 3, and then I'll rest, and then get up and do 4, 5, or 6.
Yeah.
You know, and then I'm trying to work on 7. But it's getting back to the way that I was doing. Mm-hmm. But I gotta take care of myself. I go to therapy. I still have stretching, and I still have all the stuff that I do, and it's a lot easier now. I don't go as often. I just got taken off the high risk category. Just did 3 years later, and it's and I can get another doctor, and I can do all the stuff, and just the trauma of all of that is just. You feel that you just kind of feel inferior sometimes, you know?
Yeah, because you're still living in it, because it's not done, because it's not over, like, you know, like you had like that happen and then it's over and done with. Exactly. You're still living in that trauma.
Exactly. So we still go through that pain, even though we're operating in our living our best life. We're still operating in that good stuff, but there's still a little point of mourning. Mm-hmm. And so again, mama's boy, talked to my mom. Yeah. My mom was there.
Yeah.
My mom was there every day in the hospital the whole time. And so she saw what I went through, and she saw, and because of the C. diff, until you look it up, she couldn't touch me. Mm-hmm. So imagine your own mama, and you can't rub your son's head. You can't say it's going to be okay. You can't do any of that. So she was traumatized too. Mm-hmm. And so she, nobody wants to see their baby laid up in the hospital, no matter how old they are. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I can handle myself, but like, obviously I can't walk. Mm-hmm. But so she was trying to get all my all my paperwork and make sure
all your affairs in order.
Yeah, all my affairs and all that stuff. She was struggling through that. And so we actually ended up talking about it. And I was like, tell her, excuse me. I would talk to her about, I feel that I'm damaged goods. Mm-hmm. And so that's when the Jesus Christ crucified thing jumped in. It was like, oh, no, you are more than a conqueror. You are more, you need that it's not a bunch of BS.
Yeah.
That's valid. It's more than just validation. You're just, you're not damaged goods sitting there feeling sorry for yourself. Mm-hmm. You are, look at who you are.
Yeah.
And so, and then on top of that, the hate, when I was gone, all these people on social media, like I literally fell off the face of the earth. Mm-hmm. I was on the back of a milk carton. Mm-hmm. And so people writing on my timeline, like, where's Big Al? Are you okay? What's going on? Yeah. And somebody wrote on my timeline, oh, Big Al? Oh, he's dead. He's dead. But the smartest thing my mom ever did for me was take my phone and take my laptop. Mm-hmm. Because that way I didn't have to see any of that stuff while I was recovering.
Yeah.
like let me just recover, then I'll go back and look.
Yeah.
So April, when I was still fully functioning now, I was like, I'm still trying to learn how to walk and all that stuff, and I was going through it, and so I saw the thing on Facebook, and I was so mad. I was like, I'm dead. So I replied back, no. And so all this, oh my God, you're back. Oh my God, this that. And so the dude wanted to sue me for damages because I embarrassed him.
Oh, because defamation.
Right.
Defamation, yeah.
And I don't know what I went off. I just lost it, right? Because I'm like really cool guy. I don't really cuss too much. I went South Side Chicago all over again, and East Oakland. Not East Oakland, like Seminary and International East Oakland, right? I'm like, motherfucker, what?
Yeah, right?
I got lawyers too. Bring your lawyer and your mama. Let's go. Let's fucking go. I was pissed off. And right after that, back then in Facebook, if you take up your comment, everything in your timeline on that comment would go away.
Yeah. And
that's what he did. It was gone. And I was like, then you see that you saw true haterism at its finest.
Yeah.
When they kick you when you're down.
Exactly. And like you're like, I'm just trying to get through the day. Like,
right.
And now you're saying I'm dead, motherfucker. Like,
I'm just trying to pee for 3 times in a day, right? And you tripping.
Yeah.
So it was that's so it really made me. It can easily make you bitter. Mm-hmm. But I was like, you know what? I'm gonna now I know how people are. Mm-hmm. I know the psychology of people. Yeah. I know the culture of people. So I'm gonna use that on the air. So I freely talked about everything on the radio. I talked about my hospital stay. I talked about my divorce. I talk about everything. Like trying to find a woman. I talk about all of it.
Yeah.
All of it. And I talk about like what I gotta go through as a man, mm-hmm. especially now in Me Too, mm-hmm. of trying to find a mate. Mm-hmm. Right? Legitimately trying to find a wife. And it's like we go through hell. I mean, it's not. I know women go through hell. I know the evil that men do. All right, mm-hmm. So that is already assumed. I already know that women go through all kinds of madness, but the dudes go through it too. But we're not supposed to say nothing about it. We're supposed to man up. And I'm like, come on, man, you gotta share your feelings.
Yeah.
When you do this, I feel this way.
Yeah.
And at least let them know that this is what's going on. And a lot of women and positively react in a great way. Like, no, Al, this is what it is. This is why we think this way. Mm-hmm. And so the listeners really helped me. It's kind of catharsis helped me through all that.
Yeah, so you're talking about you're living your best life, as we say, like because you're living an authentic life now. You're sharing like what's actually going on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Instead of being just the character, it's like the real you now.
Yeah, yeah.
And like that's like a freeing, like healing part to all the trauma.
So it's so now it's not like just Big Al anymore. It's just Alvin turned up to 11.
Yeah.
And he's just talking about my stuff. And if I'm excited, I'm going to talk about it. I'm excited. And if I'm pissed off, I'm going to tell you I'm pissed off. Or if I'm sad, I'm going to tell you I'm sad. And just so that I'm, like you said, I'm not a robot.
Yeah.
I'm behind a box talking. Yeah. I'm a real person behind it.
And I think that's great that you've been able to like take the trauma and make it into something that people can relate to. Because I'm sitting here being like, my dad left my hysterectomy when things went wrong. Oh, my parents left the country and went on vacation during my parents' surgery. And I was dying and my brother had to call them in New Zealand to come home. I mean, like, I didn't have that. And so, like, your worth and all those things you think. And then, like, social media, I gained all this weight. Like, everyone having an opinion, like, and you're already at your worst. My parents abandoned me. Didn't care if I lived or died. This is a reoccurring theme in my life.
Yeah.
But like, not having that support, not having that, your significant other's cheating on you.
Oh,
I mean, like, like your hell you're living through behind the scenes of not being in the public eye. And then, like, your weight gain or whatever it is, you didn't look like what they thought, and like what happened to you, and why did you break up, and like that's their concern versus you're alive,
right?
And like, can we help you? It was I couldn't do for them anymore because I gained weight. I couldn't do this. I wasn't attractive to be on TV. Like, I lost a lot of my life.
All of it was gone.
And for a year of my life, I wasn't TV fit. Like, cause like you have to look a certain way.
Right. Oh my God, that's crazy.
Like those are the things that people don't know that go on when you are in the public eye and you're struggling. Mm-hmm. And then people sit there and hate on you, criticize you, and you're like, I fucking hate myself right now.
And then you're supposed to just take it.
Yeah.
Just take it. You up there. You already famous. Yeah, I'm not. You just take what I give you.
Yeah. My parents were very mad that like I started talking about it publicly because now they have to be accountable.
Right.
But that's the worst of them all. Like everyone else doesn't bother me. It's when your own parents have conditioned you that way.
It's like you did this. You did this to me.
Yeah.
So it's like, but I think I talked about my stuff publicly to get my parents to talk to me about it because they were going through it as well. Like my mom and it was my stepdad. So I say my dad is my stepfather. His name is Lewis. He is an awesome man. He is worthy of being with my mom.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So he takes care of her. And when she was up here taking care of me in Sacramento, he was still down at the time. They lived in Southern California. They live in Texas now.
Okay.
But they were in Southern California. And, he was, by himself in SoCal and still doing his work and stuff like that. And all these people started in his head like, oh, maybe she left you. She don't want to, maybe they ain't her son. That's another man. That's all, all that hate. But because of their faith, they really banded together. And she would have updates and talk to, I call him dad. That's such how much respect I have for him. And mom and dad would talk and this is what's going on. And he's getting better, but he has problems with this. Or he needs morphine or this. So they were doing constant updates. And so all the while, their own church was trying to spill all this tea. And what's going on? How you feeling? So I was like, you know what? When I recover, I'm going down there. I'm going to come down there. And so they were teaching Bible study. And I was like, I want to speak in Bible study. And they were looking at me like, don't be cussing nobody out in church at Bible study, right? But I'm like, no, I'm going to tell. If anybody's going to tell the truth, it's going to be me telling their story. Because they got even stronger because of me in my situation. So I went down there and I told them, and all these women were like, and you should have saw it, man. It's every stereotypical thing you could think of about church happened at that Bible study.
I went to Catholic school, so 13 years.
Right? So
I know how it goes.
Everybody on the big hat women were like, wait, you got, who is you? And I walked in like, let me tell you who I am. And I'm all in the big hat lady's face like this. And she like, so just to let you know. And so I ran my whole spiel. And I said, if it wasn't for my mama, my dad, and the power of God, and all this stuff, nothing was going to happen, blah, 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 blah. And it basically got these people off of my mom and dad.
Yeah.
But the problem was, oh, he's single? Oh, well. And I had never had so many pies given to me in my life.
They wanted your cream filling.
I had 50, they wanted to be sanctified, you know what I'm saying?
They wanted the cream filling. They wanted the topping.
They wanted some of that communion, you know what I'm saying? They wanted some communion. So it was like, I don't want to mess with you. You don't want gossiping with my parents, and now you want me to just like you? That's not the sky blue? No, that ain't how it works.
Yeah.
That ain't how it works. And so it really galvanized how I thought about things, my outlook on life. It's kind of changed it. It didn't change it for the worse, but it made me a little bit more realistic in my thinking.
Yeah.
But I still have faith. I still believe in God. I just know, there's some things you got to negotiate around. And they talk about that in the Bible, and, I learned about that. But, so at least I know I'm going in the right direction. God ain't like, bro, you screwing up, dog. This is what you do.
But they were like, here, though. That's the thing is, so, the struggle that is to live with all this.
Yeah.
I'm like, why? What did I do?
Right.
To deserve this?
But all it is just shining. What you're getting when you get the hate is just the light is shining on you. And now they see all of it, and now they want to, what they want is your light. They ain't trying to mess with you, per se. They ain't trying to attack Jen. Yeah. They just want your light. Because they want to be underneath the light and be people watching them. Not realizing that when they got the light, everybody looking at them.
Yeah.
And dissecting them and judging them and looking at them crazy. But no, I want the light. And that's the problem. That's part of the psychological problem. So when you're in the public eye, like a radio person or TV person or whatever, or the queen of dating, they see the light on you. Because you're operating in your best function right now. And they want that fame. They don't want to do nothing to earn the fame, but they just want that fame. Yeah. And that's the crux of a lot of this crap that's going on that people hate, man. I trip off of that.
You know, the worst thing my parents ever said to me, my dad said last summer, I haven't spoken to them since. He said he wished he could put me down like the dog because the dog had more value than me. And, like, when your parent tells you that, like, everyone else, to me, can't be any worse. Because, like, if that's, like, your whole life.
Damn.
You know, like, that's your value. You're being told. So this is, like, you know, I just turned 36. Like, this is who raised me. This is what they've shown me. They left at the worst times of my life, weren't there, didn't show up. I wasn't worth, you know, postponing a vacation or staying at the hospital, all those things. Like, you learn to have to put yourself back together all by yourself. Right. Which is why I had to go to treatment for 2 years. Yeah. That probably makes more sense now. Yeah. Because the amount of trauma, like, that abandonment and everything else. And when you come back and everyone's like, oh, you're so great. Like, where the fuck were you? Like,
where were you when I was down? What happened to you?
Remember, like, when I couldn't get better fast enough and all that shit? Like, people don't realize you see their true colors. And I had to remake my life. Like, I have, like, almost none of the same friends. Because everyone I have friends with now, it's like, it's reciprocal. I had to learn what that actually looks like, not to take care of everybody. Yeah. And be that person that's always entertaining, always on. Like, I can't always do that. Like, I have my bad days, and, like, if shit goes wrong, like, I have friends that will help me now. Yeah. you got real hitters in your life that'll be right there for you. Like, we call them ride or die. Yeah, exactly. They gonna roll with you when you're feeling good, when you're not feeling good. Yeah, but I didn't have that before. I didn't even know what that looked like. And so some of the worst experiences in my life, I had to learn these normal people things. Mm-hmm. Because, like, you know, what we're ingrained in our mind, our self-worth and such is not correct. And when we go through these horrible things where you think you're never going to function. Right, again, you kind of, like, are like, fuck everybody else. Like, you don't like me? Okay.
Exactly.
Like, I don't like me some days. Like, tell me something I haven't heard or lived through.
Right. And the best part is when people say that I went through what you went through too. I'm like, no, you ain't. You ain't. No. I went through all of it. Did you have C. diff? I don't even know what a C. diff is. No, you ain't been through nothing I went through. Don't give me that. That's garbage. Garbage.
See, people say to me all the time, because I'm speaking about PTSD and stuff, like, oh, well, you have it worse than me. I'm like, no, I have trauma's trauma. Trauma is trauma. And you don't want to win that competition. Yeah. that's not like...
You don't want to win that battle. Who went through worse, you know?
But, like, people do. They want to compare, like, traumas and tragedy. Like, everyone has their own story. Everyone deals with things differently. Everyone is trying to just do the best they fucking can. Yeah. I found out, like, the more public I became, everyone has trauma and is struggling. Every single person.
You know what? It's just now getting to be a thing in 2019, which is a shame that people living in the hood go through trauma. When you trying to figure out how to stay alive to get to class in third grade in the month, that's trauma. Mm-hmm. Or when you see someone get shot on the way home from school or look outside your window, that's trauma. I was out in Oakland. It was like, I think like my 5th month living in Oakland. I'm moving from Chicago to Oakland. And I saw a lady running down the street on my block. I was on East 19th and 9th Avenue. Running down the block. And a dude with an axe is chasing her. And it was like out of a horror movie. She tripped and fell on the concrete. And my man just goes, whop, whop, whop. Just chopped her up.
My God.
I'm watching this. I'm 14 watching this. I'm like, this is not happening. What the hell? And so I was, and of course, the cops came, ambulance came, you know, all that. And I was like, I was stunned. I'm like, I didn't even see this in Chicago.
I'm traumatized just hearing this.
Yeah. And so I didn't know at the time. That's when I first learned about Sharia law and all this other stuff. I was like, because I didn't know, like, why do you want to? That's your wife, right? And so it was so. That's when I first learned about it, and I didn't understand it as a 14-year-old. Yeah. You know, in the 80s in Oakland, it was just, you know, we already dealing with crack. We already dealing with that. We're dealing with that stuff. Now I got to deal with that. I mean, it was like. I'm like just one of many people who grew up in certain environments, no matter where you are, no matter what. I mean, whether it's Marcy Projects or Cabrini Green or 6-9 Village or what Nickerson Gardens, wherever it is, the mentality is the mentality, and you have to negotiate your way through that. And that's highly traumatic. And yeah, it's crazy.
But that's what the kids I taught, though. Like,
Yeah.
So that's like the kids I always taught. You know, everyone always asks growing up in East Sac,
Yeah.
going to St. Francis Catholic school, how in the hell did I connect with these kids? It's trauma. I had been through so much already, and the abandonment, I felt the same things that they did. I did not have the same experiences,
Yeah.
but trauma is trauma, pain's pain. Like,
Yeah.
and being able to connect. So I wrote a post, like, I don't know if you saw it, like 2 days ago about being a teacher.
Yeah.
And like, you know, being a teacher is one of those things of like, it doesn't matter what you teach. These kids show up every day because they know that you're going to be there.
Yes.
They don't have that consistency.
Yes.
Oh, you have food for them every day? You have a whole closet of it. You make sure they have clothes. I got them Christmas presents every year.
Yeah.
They knew that they would have those things. And that gave them hope that their life was not going to continue to be that.
Some of them don't even have that at the house.
That's what I'm saying. No, that's what I did it, though. Because
Yeah.
I knew the conditions, because the kids would tell me what was going on. And so, like, being a teacher, like, teaching academics, that wasn't, you couldn't teach if they didn't have their basic needs met.
Right.
And so, when we talk about teaching and Common Core and all this bullshit, this is why I stopped teaching.
Right.
It's because it wasn't about teaching anymore. I didn't have the freedom to actually do what the kids needed to be able to be successful in life.
Yeah.
And everyone always wants to talk about more testing, more of this. How about we teach them to be good humans and like actually like feed and clothe them and then see how they perform academically?
Right.
You know?
Right.
And that's the disparity between like when people don't know and the people that are making these laws, what actually goes on in these schools because they never taught, nor did they ever go into those areas and serve low income.
And let me tell you, that's a whole other podcast, right?
I know,
there.
but like it's one of those things of like being able to see the disparity and the trauma, though.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
that the trauma, everyone is going through something, and I didn't realize this until like the last couple months. Every single person has trauma. Every single person is trying to deal the best they can.
Yeah.
And if they hate on you, it's because they can't deal with themselves.
Right. Right. Right.
So, I mean, I so appreciated you coming on today with me.
Hey, I appreciate. Hey, thank you for. Hey, she ended up coming out here. She's on location right now. She's in my studio, and it's so. Thank you so much. This has been cathartic for me too. This is fantastic.
It's awesome, right? The Sexcapade Chronicles. This
Exactly.
is what it's all about.
Exactly.
All right, you guys, tune in to the next episode. Thank you so much for watching.